Scott McDermott is an incumbent running for Town Moderator. This position is for a one-year term. There's one position open. He is running unopposed. Due to scheduling conflicts, we were unable to tape Scott McDermott's interview this year, and will be rebroadcasting his interview from 2017. Please vote at the Center on Icehouse Road on Monday, March 26th between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Today we're interviewing Scott McDermott. He's an incumbent running for the office of Town Moderator. This position is for a one-year term. There's one position open. He's running unopposed. How are you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing great. Thanks for doing
great.
this.
Yeah, of course, of course. Your first question is, why do you want to run for the office of Town Moderator?
Well, it's an honor and really a privilege to have the opportunity to be able to run to be Town Moderator in Medfield. This is the 15th year that I have run for election, and for me, I think it has to do with the fact that I believe that Medfield is a special place, and but it takes the right kind of community dialogue that happens at town meeting, the right kind of commitment to common purpose that makes Medfield different, and so I like to participate so that I can help to promote that dialogue, that positive dialogue, and secondly, there's a long historical thread to Medfield, going all the way back to 1650, in which they've been having these town meetings, and so I think it's very significant, the continuity in Medfield, to have that period of time, over 350 years, where we've been having town meetings to decide, very important issues.
Yeah, that's great. The second question is, what experience have you had in the past that will help you in this position?
I've had a number of experiences in terms of my professional life. I've been a corporate lawyer. I teach management practice at the MBA level. I've had a lot of experiences in terms of doing business all over the United States, in fact some travel around the world, so a lot of experiential learning, the development of certain skills and knowledge base from that, but more to the point, in Medfield, I think it's just having been involved in activities. My wife has been very involved, going all the way back to the time that our kids, who are now grown, were young and in the schools, and that got me motivated. I spent 5 years on the Park and Rec Commission in the late 90s. Have done, as I said, 15 terms as our town moderator. Have been the chairman of the police chief search committee when we hired Chief Meany. Have been the chairman of the Charter and Bylaw Review Committee, so I've had those exposures. I also had 12 years involved with youth basketball, so I probably most prepared for the rough and tumble of being town moderator by the activities associated with being involved in being on the board and coaching in youth sports.
That's amazing, wow. What is the biggest challenge in facing the town of Medfield? How might you approach this on your committee?
Well, the biggest challenge that the town faces will reveal itself at the town meeting, and that is our need and our thinking about how do we do all of the things that are on our plate at the moment. This is a particularly interesting and critical time for Medfield. We have issues associated with the budget that will take consideration. We always have issues associated with the budget because our tax base is so rooted in residential taxes, property taxes, and we don't drive a lot of our revenue by commercial means, and so that means that most of our expenditures, all of the required spending that we need to do, mostly it comes from our residential taxpayers, from our neighbors, from the folks in the community, and now we have other things that are putting pressure on that as well, including the need to address affordable housing issues, the need to address senior living, and the evolution of the demographics of our town. We have a very significant opportunity and challenge with the land at the former state hospital. We also have an evolutionary change going on in Medfield that is generational in nature. A lot more younger families again, and a lot more folks who have been here for a long time thinking about what they would like to do for the future.
Yeah, definitely. If there's one thing that you would like the voters to know about you, what might that be?
I think I would like the voters to know that that I care about Medfield, the people here are special, that the history is, really quite phenomenal, and that I'm also a person that, believes in what can be done if you can find shared common purpose, and that when that is achieved, that really tremendous things can be done. And I think that the history of Medfield for the 30 years that I've been living here, has proven this. I think another thing I'd like people to know is that I believe that that what makes a community really distinctive, like Medfield, is its ability to be able to kind of weave together the fabric of all the good things that we do. So, which is great schools and commercial interests, so some business interests downtown, taking care of our young and our old, having safe streets and good public works. All of those things that we want to do and that we need to do have to be woven together, and we rely very heavily on a volunteer base to do that in town government and beyond. And so those folks like myself who participate in town government, many of them are volunteers.
That's very important, definitely. What has been the biggest challenge so far in this campaign?
Well, I joked earlier that the biggest challenge is to get ready to do this interview with you, get my nomination papers signed now for the 18th time, I think, is a little bit of a challenge. But the bigger challenge is just to make sure that I'm paying attention to all of these emerging warrant articles. The Board of Selectmen a week ago Tuesday closed the warrant for this year's town meeting, and in my position, we get very focused on that last Monday in April. There's really three things that a town moderator can do. You orchestrate the town meeting every year and any special meetings that are required. I also appoint all of the members of the warrant committee. So we have a warrant committee of 9 neighbors, folks from the community, and each year I need to fill any vacancies in the warrant committee. It's a very, very important committee. It's a deliberative group that serves us very well. I think I've appointed 37 people to the warrant committee over the last 15 years, so that's a very important function. And the last thing that I hope that I contribute a little bit to is to set the tone of what political life in Medfield is all about, which has been very collaborative, has been very civil. Although there are serious issues, people don't take themselves overly seriously, and I think we need to continue to maintain that in order to continue to have the right kind of dialogue amongst all the people in the town, particularly as these issues are so important, so critical, and sometimes they can be divisive.
Yeah, it sounds like a great dynamic. A big issue with the town of Medfield's boards and elected offices is communication. How do you plan to reach a broader audience if elected and provide more transparency?
Communication is really interesting from my perspective, because I'm mostly interested in seeing that we get as many of our neighbors to come to town meeting as we possibly can and participate on that last Monday in April, because you really do have an opportunity to participate as a member of a legislative body and to actually make the literal rules and regulations that govern our affairs. But not only that, to be able to set our budgets. We have an operating budget and a capital budget, so to be able to participate in that. So I try to do as much as I can in order to communicate about the town meeting, doing this interview. I'd like to do some other activity with Medfield TV. The selectmen are now blogging and getting, that's been a very good source of information, staying connected with the local papers. But anything that we can do to let people know that, about the issues that are coming before the town meeting, I think is important.
Definitely. The town of Medfield has had requests to build several complexes for affordable housing. How will this impact your position?
Well, it will directly impact my position because we will be seeing warrant articles that will be coming before the town meeting. And so at some point, zoning considerations and siting considerations and other things associated with could be budgets and expenditures, issues that are associated with the implications of doing what we need to do in affordable housing are going to start to appear at the town meeting probably as early as this April, but certainly in successive years and maybe in special town meetings as well. I make it a point not to take any stand on any issues that are going to come before the town meeting, because the nature of the position is to stand up before the town, and for the town to believe that you are an impartial conductor of the meeting for the benefit of the opportunity for people who might believe in either side to be able to express their sentiments, and to make sure that they get a fair and open hearing amongst the members of the town about their positions. So when it comes to any specifics on affordable housing or any other issue, I just don't get on the record beforehand, because it's very important for me to make sure that the process of the town making its determinations is what is protected and remains the highest priority.
Yeah, it's very understandable. You now have additional time to address the TV audience.
Okay, well, I'd just like to say again, hello to everyone in Medfield, and thank everybody for all that they do. This town functions as well as it does, and in fact, some of the spectacular things that happen because we have a group of very committed and very dedicated town officials, but we also have a group of volunteers who help us to do extraordinary things. And for all those people that are doing things that demonstrate the caring of people within Medfield about other folks in Medfield, those things are really fantastic. I guess I'd also like to urge everybody to look for information regarding this year's town meeting. It's a very important town meeting this year. It comes at a very, very important time for us. There are a number of issues that will be determined in this town meeting. They're going to have long-term, significant strategic implication to them, and the way that we address our budgets and the way that we address the issues around the plans for the future of the state hospital, what we do with affordable housing initiatives, and a number of other things that are on the warrant already for this coming April. So I just urge people to come out to the meeting, to participate as a part of our legislative body, to enjoy the high school jazz musicians who are extraordinary, and to come in and enjoy themselves, and to participate.